1,040 acres. It's unheard of for an African American to own that type of land in that time frame.
Princeton, Indiana, a farm town in the southern part of the state. This small community cradles a historic landmark that tells the story of a community built on determination, hope, and prosperity. Established in the early 1840s as a community of free black slaves, Lyles Station stands as one of the last remaining African-American settlements in Indiana. In the mid-19th century, Joshua Lyles, a free black landowner, settled in the area and donated 6 acres of land valued at $50 to the Old Airline Railroad. In exchange for the property, Old Airline Railroad promised to keep a station running on the donated land. Lyles Station quickly became a prosperous community, painting a northern picture of Southern culture.
Prosperity was there, seeing the general stores, the ice cream parlor, the progress being showed that they could do the same thing as moving up through the states and relocating.
Lyles Station flourished as a community between 1880 and 1913. The settlement relied heavily on agriculture and farming. At its peak, Lyles Station was a community of over 800 residents, 55 homes. There was a post office, a railroad station, an elementary school, 2 churches, 2 general stores, and a lumber mill.
Lyles Station was kind of a little ahead of the other settlements because we were just across the Mason-Dixon line, and we had already started establishing our roots in farming and establishing our roots as a small town.
Lyles Station offered a new place to establish social, economic, and family ties for the Negro in Indiana.
They saw that opportunity, that Northwest Territory, being an open door where they could actually expand and have growth.
In 1922, growth and prosperity enveloped Lyles Station. 1922 was the year Lyles Consolidated School opened as an all-black school. In many ways, education was the backbone of the Lyles community. Up until 1869, Negro children were not permitted in public schools. In John Lyles, The Negro in the History of Indiana, he writes, "Some Negroes and their friends petitioned the legislature to set aside a fair share of the school revenue for the education of their children. The state refused and even passed a law in 1837 that excluded Negro children from school. Again, the legality of the law was challenged and an appeal was made to the state Supreme Court. The court handed down a decision upholding the law, and it was interpreted to mean that schools were only for white children." Education played a vital role in the Lyles community. The Lyles Consolidated School demanded excellence and self-discipline. School principal Joseph Lucas challenged the students of Lyles Station to achieve greater personal success.
Mr. Lucas was very sturdy, and he had a vision because he knew what the students were going to face outside this door. So that's why he made it very difficult inside this door, and he made them to believe in themselves.
Perhaps one of Lyles Station's greatest success stories is Alonzo Fields.
Whether or not it was Roosevelt, or whether it was Truman, or whether it was who, he gave them 100% at all times.
Born and raised at Lyles Station, Fields went on to serve as the butler at the White House and later became the first African-American chief butler.
First, he kind of shied away from saying Lyles Station. Most of the people in the White House said, "What hick town is Lyles Station?" Well, in the latter part of his time at the White House, he became very proud of who he was and how Lyles Station was his roots and his family and his friends. And so from that point on, he started bragging about it. Yes, I am from Lyles Station. Very proud to be from Lyles Station.
Lyles Consolidated School educated students for 36 years, but in 1958 the doors closed due to low enrollment. Lyles Station remained vacant for nearly 40 years until former resident Stanley Madison decided to spearhead preserving the historical significance of the site.
Well, we want to date this back to 1997, early 97. A group started to gather with the ideal that this historic value is about ready to pass.
Today, this group is the Lyles Station Historic Preservation Corporation, a nonprofit established in June of 1997. Their main goal is to preserve the traditions, artifacts, and land at Lyles. The restoration of Lyles Consolidated School was the first task the group took on. In 1999, Historic Landmarks Foundation listed the school as one of Indiana's 10 most endangered places. The Historic Preservation Corporation received a grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture and Build Indiana to complete the $1 million restoration project. Today, Lyles Consolidated School is listed on the National Register of Historic Places as a rare surviving manifestation of Indiana's rural African American heritage. The restoration project turned Lyles Consolidated School into a museum that offers an experience looking back into the time and lives of the people of Lyles Station. The historical site offers hands-on learning with their heritage room. Part of the school renovation included the construction of a mock classroom. School begins in the Heritage Classroom that allows today's student to step back and experience education in the 1920s. Visitors even use outhouses, and if they want a drink, it's pumped from the well. The renovated school-turned-museum is rich with displays, written and physical history. Artifacts cover the walls and line the floors, but a display of quilts tells an entirely different story of how Lyles Station played a role in one of our nation's most organized movements in history.
You can't imagine just seeing candlelight in front of you, very dim, and you were following along with this individual, not knowing whether this conductor was going to take you to the right location or whether you were going to be captured and sold back into slavery.
Lyles Station served as a way station in the Underground Railroad. Quilt patterns were used as a way of communication. Certain patterns indicated if a house or community assisted in the Underground Railroad.
But when you think about the time frame that was put together with this Underground Railroad movement, it is the biggest organized organization in our nation's history.
Lyles Station is rich with history, from ties to our nation's capital in Washington to the famous Underground Railroad. The Switch settlement served as a catalyst, establishing African American ties to Indiana. The community served as an example for future black settlements. Education was at the core of Lyles Station. The Lyles Consolidated School provided education, and education was a ticket to freedom. The people who built Lyles Station believed in a new life, a life of prosperity and a life of hope. To experience the significance and historical value of Lyles Station, visit the historical landmark in Princeton, Indiana. For location, directions, and tour information, visit www.lylesstation.org. Lyles Station, celebrating freedom, knowledge, and success in Indiana.